This is a Fox News alert. In its largest military offensive in almost 2 years, Israel is launching airstrikes against Hamas targets in the Gaza Strip. Now, the offensive began on Tuesday in response to rocket attacks that were launched at major Israeli cities. Now, since then, Israel's military is saying it has struck more than 500 sites linked to the Islamic militants in Gaza. They've also mobilized 40,000 troops in preparation for a possible ground operation. Now, for the very latest, we turn to Fox's own David Lee Miller. He's standing by tonight in Jerusalem. David.
Sean, militants in Gaza are threatening what they describe as an earthquake of an escalation of the violence. Only hours ago, rockets were intercepted not far from Israel's main airport. Israel is doing everything possible to stop the attacks. Israel's military on the offensive, targeting Gaza homes belonging to militants. In the last 2 days, 50 homes have been destroyed. At least 50 Palestinians have been killed, among them Hamas members. But Palestinian officials say many of the dead are civilians, including at least 6 children. The Israeli military, trying to avoid civilian casualties, warns residents to evacuate. But as seen in this video released by the Israeli government, people often ignore the warnings, even serving as human shields. Rocket launchers are also in the crosshairs. Militants are now firing longer-range rockets, threatening the center of the country, including Tel Aviv. They are also firing rockets in a quick barrage, trying to overwhelm Israel's Iron Dome missile defense system. At the border, tanks and thousands of troops are ready if needed for a ground invasion. Israeli officials say nothing is being ruled out. The exiled leader of Hamas, speaking from Qatar, says the only way to stop the current conflict is for Israel to stop its military activity in not just Gaza, but the West Bank. That's an offer Israel rejects, saying Hamas must pay a heavy price for the more than 200 rocket attacks in just the last 48 hours. Sean?
All right, David Lee, thank you. And here with reaction to all of this and much more is nationally syndicated radio talk show host, I call him the great one, Mark Levin. Mark, good to see you, sir.
Good to see you, Sean.
All right, let's talk about half the Israeli population now has been in bomb shelters in the last 24, 48 hours. You see the situation unfolding here, but yet we have a top official in the Obama administration now blaming Israel for what's going on there. Your reaction to that?
My reaction is this administration has been hostile to Israel from day one. You have the Secretary of State out there comparing Israel to an apartheid regime. You have the President of the United States who's issuing cold press releases when 3 of their teenagers are kidnapped and murdered by Hamas terrorists. I am appalled by what's going on here. The president's playing pool in Denver. He's having a grand old time. He should have come out, made an unequivocal statement in support of our ally Israel, the only democracy in the region. Where the hell is Congress? There should be a joint resolution out of Congress making it quite clear that we will stand with Israel. This country, our country, would never tolerate missiles being fired into our major metropolitan areas by anybody. That we wouldn't tolerate sirens going off, people going into fallout shelters endlessly, handing out gas masks. This is our little ally in the Middle East, surrounded by these terrorists and barbarians being attacked and attacked and attacked. And we should be speaking as a nation and as a government, full-throated defense and support.
What do you make of the comments of Philip Gordon, his special assistant to the president and the White House, and he's the coordinator for the Middle East? He actually said he attributed the violence to the occupation, using the exact term of the Palestinians, that they are responsible. What is your reaction to the statement they made publicly?
He's an Islamist sympathizer, quite frankly. That's why he said it. Otherwise, it's an outrageous statement for anybody to make. This president should fire him immediately, and he won't. The Secretary of State should fire him immediately, and he won't. Here they are under siege, under attack. They didn't provoke anything, trying to defend themselves so they can live in peace. And now we have this jerk who goes over there and starts talking about this as Israel's fault. I have never seen anything like this. Democrat or Republican administration, liberal or conservative administration. Like everything else, this president and his people take it too far.